Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. My name's Jason Newland and it's Q&A Friday time. Q&A Friday. Q&A Friday. Yeah. Q&A Friday. Okay, I'll stop. So let's have a look. What have I got question wise? And why is, can you hear that? It's so squeaky. I keep thinking to myself, I need to do something about that. But that's in the same kind of category, the same compartment as I need to put my rubbish out. But I have put my rubbish out today, so that's good. But fixing this squeaky desk, I just don't know if it's ever going to be done. I don't know. So let's have a look. Just to let you know, our website's jasonnewland.com. It had a brief holiday, and now it's back, fresh and invigorated with a lovely suntan. And it's got all the latest recordings. You can listen. You can stream. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's cool. There's also a link at the top of the page. Join Jason Newland's Boring Group on Facebook. You click on that and that'll bring you to my super boring group, where you can be part of a community. A very small community, but a community-ish kind of. It's private. It's been going for about 7 years, maybe longer. And it is, I've got 227 members. If it was public, I asked, I mean, no one's actually asked me this question, but I asked myself this question. Why is it private? Why? What's this? Community chats are going away on the 5th of October. I don't even know what a community chat is. Chats linked to Facebook groups will be permanently deleted. I don't understand what that is. So, the reason why I don't have it, well, why I have it private after consideration is because I do get people visiting the page, the group, and I do get listeners, visiting and commenting and contacting me and talking to each other, and it's not like it's like super busy, but every day someone comes on there and they use the group with 277 However, if we go to my main Facebook page, Jason Newland, I got 4,000 followers, 321 following. I post everything on all of my pages, and everything I do, and I get hardly any response on there out of 4,000 people that are following me or that are my friends on Facebook. Occasionally I'll get one or two, but generally practically nothing. And then I go to Jason Newland Hypnotist, which is my public page. I've got 26,000 likes and 25,000 followers on there. So these are people that have chosen to like and follow my page. Not that I've kind of asked, you know what I mean? With friends, you can ask to be friends, can't you, on Facebook? Again, I get hardly any interest in anything I do on that page. So 26,000 people, 25,000 people, and I get the occasional like on a post. So I think there may be a benefit of having a private group. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it needs to just be opened up to anyone and let's see what happens. I mean, let me know what you think. Part of the reason I quite like it to be private is because it's easier to sort of keep control of a group. Because if it got busy, which it isn't, I mean, but if I suddenly had 10, 20,000, it'd be hard to monitor what was going on. And if you get someone coming on and being horrible, it's hard to sort of keep track of that. If there's like a huge amount of people, and someone coming on and being abusive to another person and things like that, which I'm kind of trying to avoid after 20 odd years of seeing that stuff online, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on every social media platform. The only social media platform that was seen to be kind was what was the one before Facebook? Oh, I forget the name of it, but it was the big one, and then Facebook took over. That, well, just my own experience, was very supportive, because although it was a social networking site and people were adding as friends, it was also predominantly aimed at people, artists, like bands, singers, artists of all different kinds. And I suppose I kind of fitted into that category with the audio stuff and the videos that I did at the time. It's weird, I quite like the idea of being an artist. And maybe I am in a way. Just not, because I guess I'm quite, I'm quite limited when I think about art. I think of artists as being people that paint or draw. But that's not, is it? It's not where it stops. It doesn't start and end on a canvas. A writer is an artist. A singer is an artist. A musician is an artist. Someone that makes clay. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but just someone that, I think if someone loves what they do, if they're building a wall, they're an artist. Someone that's building a wall that doesn't care, they're just doing it for the money as a bricklayer, and they don't care about the result really, and they're just moving on to the next thing, then maybe they're not an artist. But if somebody really cares about what they're doing, they care about the result, and they enjoy the process, I guess I would class that as an artist as well. Or I would definitely class that as an artist. Maybe other people wouldn't, but I would. And someone that cleans a car, they clean a car for a living, or they clean houses for a living. if they do it because they kind of feel they have to and they don't like what they do, then yeah, they're not an artist in that. They might be an artist at something else. But if they really, love what they're doing, then that's being an artist, isn't it? Which means, because for years and years and years, because when I was at school, I didn't. Did I say only listen when you can safely close your eyes, just in case you've already fallen asleep? Oh dear. It was that one time I didn't say it. I mean, I've said it thousands of times. 3 times today already, blimey. I didn't really believe myself to be in any way artistic for most of my life, really. And then I used to write poetry, I used to write song lyrics, I used to write a journal, I used to write short stories. None of it was particularly good, but I used to enjoy writing. I kind of haven't. This really is me writing, because if this had been around in the 90s, so let's say 1991 or 1990, if the internet had been around and things such as podcasts existed and recording equipment was, because back then it was just like tape recorders for the average person outside of a recording studio or some kind of, expensive get-up, then I probably wouldn't have done much writing. I would have talked, because I write how I talk, or I talk how I write. The problem is, even though for me this is fast, it's too fast for me to write, which may seem strange considering I suppose I talk fairly slowly, but I can't keep up with it writing wise, which means I lose stuff. But what is strange is sometimes I'm going to do the Q&A Friday, don't worry, I'm just rabbiting on. You know me, I like to have a good old chit-chat sometimes. I never get, it's really weird because I just had a pause there, but I don't get writing block when I'm talking, unless I'm in a really not in a very good space. But then I don't get verbal block. I just say stuff that I shouldn't say, and that's when I delete the recordings, or I just stop recording when I realise that this is pointless. So, because it's kind of the opposite. So if it's something serious and I want to talk about something really serious, I think I found it easier to write it down than to say it. I think. Maybe it feels more personal, more private if I don't say it out loud. It feels more secretive, like my darkest secrets. Maybe I've got an issue and I'm writing it down, and it's just private between me and the pad of paper and the pen. There's something about saying stuff out loud that feels as though it's not private anymore. Although I do share stuff online, so it's not really private, is it? I share a lot of my private stuff online. I hope some of you appreciate that. My entertainment, I'm entertaining you to sleep with my boring life that, I mean, not all of it's true. But, you know, it's weird. You think if you've been around listening to me for, let's just say the duration of the Let Me Bore You to Sleeps, however long that is it 2018 onwards, then you've, admittedly, there's going to be a lot of stuff you won't remember, like I don't remember, and also you'd have fallen asleep, so it might be that you've kind of, over that period, you've sort of heard every time you'd hear me talking about Andre, and you'd hear Andre in the background, and you'd hear me talking about my friend downstairs, and you'd hear me talking about stuff going on in the flat and other bits and bobs, and then you heard about, probably told you about another friend, something happened with another friend, and then the neighbour downstairs, and then the new neighbour coming in, and then Vinny coming in. You know, all these different things that happened, and it's not a lot of stuff, but it's kind of, in some ways, this does feel like a journal, but without, I don't know, I just don't end up with an aching right wrist, you know, when I finish doing these recordings. Because I'm talking about writing, by the way. Vinny, try chewing it. You haven't got to stick it all in your mouth. He's so greedy. Just chew it. Break a bit off and chew it. We fell out earlier. We had a little row, a little punch up. we told each other off, but it's okay. The air's been cleared. It's okay now. He just did something. He started barking really loudly, continuously, wouldn't stop, and I couldn't figure out what it was. But it turned out there was someone cleaning the stairs. So actually he was kind of doing his job, wasn't he? I just couldn't, I could hear something, but I didn't know where it was coming from, and I was looking through the door to see if there's anyone there. There was no one outside my front door. No one on the camera, there was no one outside, like, Vinny, you know, and he was absolutely screaming. And because we've got new neighbours moved in, 2 new neighbours, 2 different flats, I don't want them complaining about Vinny barking, because that puts me in a very, very difficult situation. He's coming over. He wants to climb on my lap. Do you want to climb on my lap? You want to climb on my lap? You can if you want. You want to climb on my lap? No? Okay. He does. He wants to climb on my lap, but at the same time, he doesn't want me touching him. It's weird. So, yes, I am looking at you and talking about you at the same time, Vinny. Yes, I am. So what he does, he gets onto the corner of the sofa, this side, this is the side that I don't sit, because I'm in the chair at the desk. And he kind of puts his paw on my knee. So he's trying to get on my knee, on my lap. But if I go to pick him up, he pulls away. But once he's on my lap, he's happy. And he'll just cuddle me until he gets bored, and then he jumps off. I think he's listening. He makes me laugh because he's so aware of every single thing. He hears everything. he knows the sound of every single person within this whole little area. Do you want to get on? You want to get on? Do you want to? No? Or do you want to lay down by my feet? So all that time, I do wonder how I've changed as a person, if I've grown as a person or not, if I've learned anything. I wonder, have I learned a single thing in all those years, just since 2018? What's that, 7 years? 7.5 years. It'll be 8 years in March next year. I just don't know. What should we do for the 10th anniversary of the Let Me Bore You to Sleep? I know it's over 2 years away, but we should plan something. Should we all meet up? Should we all meet up and have some ice cream? Yeah. I'll book a venue just up the road from where I live, and you can all travel in from around the world and come. You can stay at the hotel, and we can all I can do a Q&A Friday for everyone. I don't know. That'd be very expensive for everyone, wouldn't it? Travelling all the way here just for... I don't know how long the show would last. What, an hour? 2 hours? But then I'd have to cover the cost of the venue, which I don't think would be much, to be honest with you. It's just a hotel. It probably, it wouldn't cost much. It's not like it's a theatre or anything. Probably wouldn't even have a microphone. Although technically I've got plenty of microphones here. I don't have a PA system. I could get hold of one of them, borrow one of them from someone. In fact, downstairs, he's a guitarist, so he's probably got a PA system I could borrow. Ooh. Or, what should we do for my 20th anniversary of making hypnosis recordings online? Videos and MP3s. And that's the beginning of next year. So literally we're, October, no, just over 3 months away from my 20th anniversary of making hypnosis recordings. And, making recordings full stop, really. I'm going to add my own question to Q&A Friday, shall I? How come you're making hypnosis recordings again when you said you weren't going to make them anymore? That'll be the first question. I'm going to ask myself a question, and then I'll get on with the questions. So the first question I'm asking myself, why am I doing hypnosis recordings when I said I wasn't going to? Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. It would be... See, I'm doing this to help people. You know, that is my main goal. Is Vinny was just moaning then, so I realised he didn't have his bowl of water in there, because we were just in the bedroom earlier. But he's making some weird noises. Can you hear him? I don't quite know what he's doing or what he wants. Are you hungry? Do you want your dinner? Right, I'm going to go and see if he needs his dinner. That might be why he's moaning. Right. It turned out that what he actually wanted was his dinner. And he was looking around for his bowl. Now, the last week or so, maybe even longer, he's been very temperamental with his dinner. And I've been giving him his dinner, and then he's just leaving it all day long. And I thought to myself, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not wasting his food, and I'm not leaving it out. I mean, in the end, yesterday he ate it last night, and had been out for hours and hours and hours. So I don't think he enjoyed it. And he's only eaten a little bit of the dinner now. So what I'll do now, what I did this morning, is I gave him his dinner. I came and sat down here. I put the dinner on a table. And once he can't have it, he wants it. So I'll put the table, I'll put the dinner, his dinner dish on the thing. Oh, do you want it? Oh no, he's trying to catch a fly. And this morning he ate it all up. And then he hasn't had any food all day long other than treats when we've been out, like a bit of dry food and stuff, and he's had a few other bits, but he's not, he hasn't had his food out all day like it normally is. And that's what I need him to do. I need him to eat it. So he's been a good boy. But he is now listening, because he heard some activity within the building. I heard it as well. And he's listening. He tilts his head like, oh, he knows. I think he knows who it is. But he's probably wondering, I wonder how much noise I can get away with. So, back to the conversation. Why am I still doing hypnosis sessions? Or why did I stop doing them? Maybe that's a better question. Well, I think really in August I kind of, this summer has had, without going back into the details of it, it's had quite a big effect on me, and I couldn't really see the point in what I was doing. I didn't see any validity or how it was really useful for people. Maybe the boring stuff, because people do tell me it's, it helps them to sleep and can also be a friendly voice and stuff. But with the hypnosis, I started to think, well, there's loads of hypnosis videos on YouTube and people can listen to them. They don't need me to make stuff like that. And I've been doing it for nearly 20 years, and it's, how many more different versions of a relaxation hypnosis session can I do? Well, the answer to that is probably infinite, actually. And I started to think back to, why did I start doing this? And I had a conversation with someone about this as well. And this person, I'm not going to say the name, but this person told me that I had a gift or whatever, like I'm good at it. That's basically what she said. I'm good at what I do. And I don't know, I just started thinking, what do I want? But then I started thinking, well, why did I start doing this in the first place? And it was to help people. And I still believe that the best way to help yourself is to help other people. It doesn't mean I'm right, but that's just that's my personal belief system, is helping other people helps me emotionally, perhaps spiritually, I don't know. So I kind of I've gone months and months about making hypnosis recordings in the past, and then make a hypnosis recording, it's no big deal. But when I kind of decided, when it was like, nope, not making hypnosis anymore, there was a void there that couldn't be filled with the Let Me Bore You to Sleep recordings. Because it's a very different modality, it's a very different process, different types of recordings. Not completely different, there's definitely an overlap, but so I just started wondering, and also because I had a bit of a blip, which I'm not going to go into, but I had a bit of a blip. August, it lasted a few weeks, and yeah, that also kind of cemented the idea that I wasn't going to be making any more hypnosis recordings. And then, this week, is it this week? I don't know. When did I start back making them? Probably this week. Just going to go back. So I've done 1, 2, 3. So I've done 3 hypnosis recordings this week, but it's the first time I've made any kind of hypnosis-y stuff since technically the end of August, but any kind of long one, it was going back a little while. Wow. Yeah. A long while. It was the August the 14th. So in all fairness, it wasn't a long time. So August the 14th, 26, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it was like just under 6 weeks, which is the longest I've gone for a while. And then I had all the issues with the Apple podcast. I don't know what the heck went on there. I mean, some of it was my fault. I don't like to blame myself, but some of it was, I got a little bit confused with the whole situation. But me not doing hypnosis stuff, that didn't really have anything to do with the Apple podcasts not updating. But they now seem to be back to technically running okay, which is good, and Spotify as well. So on my website, you can actually go there and it will take you, if you go to the website, jasonnewland.com, there is, where is it? It's not even on there. Alright, if you go to any episode, and underneath the episodes there's a player, which you can listen. You can share it on Twitter, or tweet rather, on X, Facebook, or just share it. You can also stream it, each individual recording, whether it's 5 hours or 10 hours. Each one's got its own page. Or you can view it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and both those links work, which is pretty good. So that's working. So if it's a last resort and you're having problems with, Apple Podcasts or whatever, just go to my website and you'll find it there. Just go to the latest recording, click on that, and it'll take you to a separate page, and you can just click on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you can follow from there. I don't know if I've really answered my own question, to be honest, but hey, just I guess it was trying to find some kind of meaning to what I was doing. Was there any meaning to it? And for a while I didn't really think there was. So yeah. So Christine asks, are you hooked on EastEnders now that you've picked it up again? Semi. It's a weird one because I've been watching it. I watched it right from the beginning. I think it was 1985, which is a long time. But I've noticed over the last 10 years, I haven't been as regular a viewer as I used to be. And there's been periods when I didn't watch it for a few months, but there's been periods when I've not watched it. I mean, okay, I usually watch it at Christmas because there's always some kind of super exciting plot line. So I watch it on the lead up to Christmas, otherwise I won't understand what's going on. And I did watch it when there was the Phil Mitchell storyline, and when the pub got blown up, the Queen Vic, and so I did watch it because I'm online, so I kind of, anything big that's about to happen in any of the soaps generally comes up, and I think, ooh. So I'm not sure if I would say that I'm hooked. It's very strange seeing Zoe back. Very strange. She left 20 years ago. Now that just boggles my mind. And I remember when she was in it. And it's really strange that someone can be in it just for a few years, yet she still left an impact. And she could come back into it, and so many of the regular audience would remember her. I mean, she looks older, as obviously she would do. But it's amazing that she left and became the Bionic Woman. Not mentioned in the storyline. They say, "Now, what you've been doing for 20 years?" Well, she had an accident, didn't she, and had to have like new legs and new arms, bionic eye, bionic ears, and all that stuff. And she fought crime, but don't mention that in the storyline. It's really weird. And the fact that people try and get into a fight with her, you wouldn't, would you? She doesn't tell anyone that she's got the advantage, the physical advantage. So that was weird. And then, I don't know. There's a weird storyline at the moment with, is it Peter? Peter Bill, who's with Lauren, and another girl fancies him, and then Lauren, his wife, or his fiancée, ends up having coffee with this girl that fancies her boyfriend. It's very strange. I mean, even What is it, Vinny? Do you want that? Okay, go on then. There you go, Vin. I just had another interruption. But this time, Vinny wanted to go out. So I just took him out for a walk. He doesn't normally interrupt me this many times. So I can't remember roughly what I was talking about. I think it was EastEnders, Christine. I think it was EastEnders. I tell you, I mean, this isn't going to really mean much to anyone that doesn't watch EastEnders. But there's a young woman. The person that interests me the most at the moment is the young woman that's got a job at the bar run by Cindy Bill, or owned by Cindy Bill. I'm just wondering who she is, because she's going to be, knowing EastEnders, she's going to be related to someone that's already there. And I'm wondering who that is. Yeah, so, and I'm interested in the Peter storyline. I'm just wondering, where that's going to go. Is Libby, is it Libby? His girlfriend, anyway, his fiancée, not Libby, is it? Well, anyway, whatever her name is she going to get into a relationship with that lady? And another thing I've noticed is it seems to be a bit more humorous. They like actually quite funny jokes in the show, instead of like in the past it was, I mean, it's still gritty and it's still not an easy watch sometimes, but it seems like maybe they've got some new writers that got a bit of a comedy voice. Just something that I've noticed, you know, with the whole like Peter, girlfriend, other person, and that bloke that's the criminal, but he's trying to chat up that new lady that's just joined, and and then the whole kind of interaction between Cindy and the bar manager, and then you've got all the horrible stuff with the Slater family, basically. It's just non-stop, isn't it? Doom and gloom with that lot. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. It just seems, I wouldn't say I'm hooked yet, although I'm going to watch it. I don't even know if it's on tonight. I've watched it every day this week, or every evening this week. Is EastEnders on tonight? Because they've changed the times, haven't they? Because it's Friday today. And when is EastEnders? I tell you, the internet's still not very good sometimes. Is EastEnders on tonight? Okay. It's back on TV tonight. What? beloved 40s set period drama with perfect early seasons is back on TV tonight. EastEnders has announced an air date for its spin-off exploring what? I've got no idea what that's all about. The 1% Club UK, Walford Junction, EastEnders, the 1% Club. So is that an EastEnders spin-off? Is that what it is? I'm confused. I really don't know what to make of that. But EastEnders used to be on Tuesday and Thursday. When it first came out 40 years ago, Tuesday evening, Thursday evening, 7:30. I'm pretty sure it was 7:30. And then they went up to doing, I think at one time they were on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. So there was 4 episodes, but they weren't on Wednesday. Now I watched EastEnders on Wednesday, so it's definitely on this Wednesday. I know that sometimes they put it on a different day if there's football clashing. So if there's football, you know, like a live sporting event on BBC One during the World Cup, or maybe during Wimbledon, stuff like that, and they move EastEnders maybe to either BBC Two, or they show it on a different day or a different time. But I'm still not getting whether or not it's on. It says it's on at 7:30 tonight. So does that mean it's on at 7:30 every single night of the week now, Monday to Friday? Because I didn't know that. This is new to me. And talking about this, I watched Emmerdale on, I don't know what day it was, but it was a cliffhanger, and what's his name? Dingle. Oh, what's his name? The bad boy, well, he used to be the bad boy, was in the middle of a forest with a big shotgun, and I didn't watch the next episode to see what happened, because that is a show I got very hooked on for a little while, Emmerdale. And this was probably in the 2000s when, what is his name? Oh, because you had the Dingle family. You had Mandy, both her parents, her dad was, and then you had either the cousin or the brother, who is the naughty boy, the naughty one, and he's still in it, and he married a policewoman. Oh God, I don't want to put his name in case it brings up the plot, the storyline plot, because I want to check that on maybe ITV Player and watch that. Other shows that have hooked me over the years. Oh man, there was a TV show, it was a soap called Brookside in the 80s, and it was on Channel 4, and it was the first soap that Channel 4 had, and it really, I'm not even sure if it was around before EastEnders. Brookside TV show, It started in the 80s, 82. So Brookside, and it ran until 2003. So wow, so it was around before EastEnders. Now, Coronation Street has been around for about 700 years. And I think there's only one cast member still left from the original show. And he is literally, when he walks, it's like a fog. It's basically just dust. It's like formed dust. He's so old. And it was, yeah, wow. And I got a little bit hooked on Coronation Street a few different times over the years, but Brookside, proper gritty, like really gritty. And there was a little period during, I think it was Grant. Was it Grant? Barry? There was a period in like about 1988 where I was absolutely hooked on Brookside. It was the best sitcom. It was the best soap, in my opinion, at the time. And I watched all of them, apart from Emmerdale. Never liked Emmerdale Farm until the 2000s, when I discovered it again, because it was just all about being on a farm and had Benny and with his cap, and I was like, oh, what's the point in this? But then I rediscovered it in 2000, like 2002, and it was proper good. It was like really good. So yeah, Brookside is so good, really dramatic. Coronation Street, I've never, I've gone through periods when I've watched Coronation Street, really regularly. But it's one of those shows where I can pick it up and leave it for a while, then pick it up and kind of, after watching a couple of episodes, I can catch up. And EastEnders is a bit like that. Although there was one period when I went and I didn't watch EastEnders for quite a while, and I had to learn a lot of new characters. And it's a little bit like that now, actually. There's people in the show that I don't really know who they are. I kind of, okay, so Stacey's daughter has a baby. I mean, when was Stacey's daughter old enough to have a baby? I don't remember Stacey's daughter even being in the show. She was just a kid in the background. And then, yeah, all the young people are now at the same age as the people who are now in their 50s. Like Martin. I know Martin's not in it anymore, but Martin and did some of the, like Ian Beale was only, about 17. I think he was still at school when EastEnders started in the show, and now he's 94. So yeah, they've started to make him a bit more jovial. I've noticed that, because he seems a bit more happier in himself, in the character, which is how he is in real life. When I've seen him on TV shows and that, and he's very bubbly, smiley, quite a happy bloke. He comes across as. But in EastEnders, he never really, not for a long time has he come across like that. And now he seems to be. They sort of, it's almost like they're allowing him to have almost a nice personality instead of because he was not a nice character in the show, Ian Bill. Really not. Not as bad as Nasty Nick. Oh, Nasty Nick Cotton. Oh, blimey. He was awful. He became like Janine Butcher, though, because whenever they came back after being away for a few years, everyone got excited because Janine's back. Or Nick's back. Hello, Ma. All right, Ricky. You know, it's like, oh, what nastiness are they going to get up to this time? Now, I don't remember how Janine left this time. I don't remember sort of seeing her leave. But they made sure that Nick Cotton left for good. Because he kept coming back for like over 30 years. And then, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they just finally waved bye-bye. Which is a bit of a shame, because I think they could have maybe done something better with that storyline. Instead of having him be the absolute horror that he was every time he came back. Even he pretended to be nice just in order to extort money from people or his mum or whatever. But they could have showed him having changed his life around. Because, you know, some people do that. Lots of people do that. They move on and they have a different life once they get into their, well, sometimes it's 40s, 50s, sometimes it's 60s, 70s. But it's still, because it's kind of a positive thing, isn't it? Just to show that if Nick Cotton can do it, then anyone can. Although he's not a real person, but he did get typecast, which makes you wonder why he didn't just stay in the soap. Why did they just keep him in it? Because outside of pantomime and maybe stage acting, I don't think he could really get much work on screen, because he was so well known as being Nick Cotton, Nasty Nick. It's weird, because even in like 50 years' time, if TV's still around and, you know, everything's still going along, I say 50 years' time, but, you know, if you go for like, who was the faces of EastEnders? Who are the faces? If you think of like the span of 40 years, who are the faces that would always be remembered? And you got Dirty Den. You got Dot Cotton. Pauline Fowler. Phil Mitchell. Ian Bill. Just trying to think what other people that kind of just have not just been around for a long time, but they've made a huge impact on the show. For me, even I was going to say Mrs. Mangle, but that's Neighbours, isn't it? Mrs. Mangle. Oh, not Edna. Oh, me and my Willie. That what's her name? Edna? She had a little dog. It's a very funny character. Oh, I forget her name. So maybe she wouldn't be, but, you know, Dot Cotton, Dot, blimey, and Pauline. So I can never understand Pauline, right? I saw her she was in a sitcom called Are You Being Served? and she was this young, almost model type kind of woman in this TV show, and she was okay. She wasn't necessarily friendly in it, but she was, I don't know. I just like she seemed quite nice, kind of, as a person, and I'm sure she was a nice person. But the character she played in EastEnders was awful. There was just awful. It was. I'm not sure if she smiled. I think if she smiled, it would have been like 4 times in the whole 30 odd years that she was in the show. That's not got to be good for someone, to be playing a character that's so serious. Mind you, apparently, in The Sopranos, Tony, the actor that played Tony, he would do a really serious shoot, and then he'd start trying to put off the other actor. They'd be laughing around. So he was able to do it and then just break character and be fine. So I suppose that's what they call acting, isn't it? Thing is, when I was at school, acting was shouting. For me, because I was in drama, did drama for 2 years, and it was just shouting at each other, and it was like all dramatic and arguing and getting angry. No acting at all. I didn't understand the first thing about acting, and I still don't really. I mean, other than watching, movies and stuff. I don't think I learned anything in that class. Laura asked me, what's your favourite dinosaur and why? I love this question and think it would be a fun one from you. I'll be honest. I think my favourite dinosaur would be the one that had no teeth and would be cuddly and wouldn't eat me. That's got to be my favourite dinosaur, the one that wouldn't try and eat me. Because, yeah, it's a preference. It's one of my little preferences. I don't know. I think I quite like... Let's have a look. Just come out of the thing. What's going on? Why? It's just kicked me out of the page. Why has it kicked me out? Oh, I want to say thank you to Paul for your kind PayPal gift. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, I'm coming back. I'm back into the Facebook group. Oh, Laura has been a member of the Jason Newland's Boring Group since the 20th of August 2022. 2022. So over 3 years. So I'm trying to think. You know what? I don't know much about dinosaurs, but I did sometimes wonder if I was going to be a dinosaur, I'd want to be the biggest dinosaur. I mean, technically, Godzilla is a dinosaur, isn't he? Or she? That's my impression of a quizzical door. Although I do like those flying ones. Now, if you expected me to say the names of dinosaurs, I suppose I could look them up, couldn't I? I don't know. I know there's only one that I know. Pterodactyl. Is that the flying one? So let's have a look. Pictures of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. For kids. Okay, that'd probably be better. No, because it's literally... Oh... Pictures of dinosaurs, not for kids. With names. With names, that's what I want. Okay. It is for kids with names. That's a little... What are you doing? Okay, so the picture's too small. That's not going to be any good for me. Pictures of dinosaurs with names. So if I go... Oh, I think this might be the one. 24 educational dinosaur posters. Essential. Okay, so let's have a look. So you've got the Afrovenator, the Allosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Cryolophosaurus, Archaeopteryx. So these, right? Okay, so I'm looking at these. Why do I not know any of these names? Tyrannosaurus. Okay, I know the Tyrannosaurus. But these birds, is that what I said earlier? Tyrannosaurus. Are you telling me that the only dinosaur that I know the name of is Tyrannosaurus? Pterosaurus, Pterosaurus. Yeah, that's the Pterosaurus. That's the bird one. Pteranodon. Then you've got the Triceratops. But that looks a little bit like a rhinoceros, as does the Stegosaurus. Okay, this is the other one with a big long neck. Bronchosaurus. Brachiosaurus. So that makes no sense because I would remember that name. And that's not the name of that. Well, I mean, I guess it is, but it doesn't seem right. There's got to be dinosaur pictures for kids. Oh, Alice, these are really hard names. Bronchosaurus, Baryonyx, Edmontonio, Melicus, Mimi. So that's a good one. I like that, Mimi. I mean, it depends. I mean, if I have to sort of tell people what my name is, then... You didn't actually ask me if I was going to be a dinosaur, which one I'd want to be. Did you? You asked me what my favourite one is. Or did you ask me for... Okay. If it was a pet, then it'd have to be a little one. Yeah. I think raptor. Is it a raptor? They look quite good because it's big, like I'd want to, yeah, something that's about the size of a human, and I could take it in the park. And these brave dogs that bark at me and Vinny, and just want to see them and their faces and see how much barking they'd do when they saw me with my dinosaur and Vinny underneath the dinosaur's legs, probably between the dinosaur's legs, just walking, laughing at the other dogs. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, but I'm thinking, there's a little bit of me that likes the biggest and the baddest. There is a bit of that. And I suppose the only dinosaurs I've really seen in action would probably be kind of in the King Kong movies. And Jurassic Park, of course. I mean, I've not watched many of those, but the Jurassic Park movies as well. I mean, those ones with the long necks, the giraffe, which giraffes probably come from that, don't they? They probably, you think about it, what other animal has a giraffe-like neck? Just that dinosaur that has a giraffe-like neck. The Diplodocus. The Diplodocus. It's very much giraffe-y, isn't it? I mean, in fairness, Irritator. The Irritator was a weird one. The Irritator. The drawing shows a possible appearance of Irritator, a dinosaur from the early Cretaceous period, around 110 million years ago. Fossil remains of this theropod dinosaur are limited, but scientists estimate that it grew to around 8 meters, 26 feet in length. It's found in Brazil. Now, to me, that looks very like an alligator or a crocodile, like with the long jaw. Because the idea that all dinosaurs are extinct, they're not. Clearly, alligators and crocodiles are dinosaurs. As far as I can see, they're dinosaurs. What else could they be? So they are dinosaurs. They're still here. And then you've got rhinoceroses, dinosaurs. I mean, they're basically, they're dinosaurs. This, that's what I'm thinking. But definitely, like lizards. Although, have you ever watched like the old movies from maybe the 40s, 50s, 60s, The Land That Time Forgot, or 2000, was it? There was one with Raquel Welch where she's a cave woman. And they've done all this night, made it look nice, and they've got them all wearing, things, and they don't speak any, it's all like ooh, ooh, ah, ah kind of language. There's no, proper language or anything. And then they've got, for a dinosaur, they've basically got a turtle. Just enlarged a turtle. Don't know where they got one that big, and it kind of spoilt it a bit. And I realise at the time they probably didn't have anything else, but why not use a crocodile? Why not dress up a crocodile? Have a crocodile, add some big ears, maybe some wings. Do you know what I mean? Just like, or add a giraffe, but maybe standing on top of a hippopotamus. I don't know if a hippopotamus would be able to hold a giraffe. I mean, they're a handful, aren't they? A giraffe. how much do you reckon a giraffe weighs? I need to know. How much does a giraffe weigh? A giraffe weighs anywhere between 2,400 and 3,000 pounds. That's 1,090 to 1,360 kilograms. Wow. Mind you, that's like 12 of me. 13 of me. Between 11 and 15 of me. Maybe 14, 15 of me. Which is still a lot, isn't it? I mean, yeah. 1,000. 3,000 pounds. But there's another saying, say, how much does a giraffe cost? Well, I don't know. Where would you be able to buy a giraffe? How much does a giraffe cost? Baby giraffes cost between $10,000 and $15,000. Adult giraffes between 20 and 80, with most sales around $27,000 to $30,000. Why? What? Huh? I mean, can you have a pet giraffe? 4 reasons why you shouldn't. Can you have a pet giraffe? I mean, where would you keep it? You know, I don't. I've got a communal garden. Where would it sleep? Up to 20 feet tall. Can you have... Yes, you can have pet giraffes in many states, but that doesn't mean they're making good pets. So this is America. Another... It does make me wonder why the websites, or, you know, like just assumed that the reader is from a particular country when the internet is worldwide. Ah, well. What other questions? Sorry, Laurie, that was a disappointing answer. I know it was. It was. But I think they'd be fun. I think I do like the flying ones, though. I don't know why. I always quite like them. But if I was going to choose anyone, you know, Godzilla. Godzilla is my favourite. But I never really understood. Cheers, Vin. I never really understood Godzilla's intentions. I mean, it's like he's going to help, but in the process of him going to help Japan, he flattens about 75 skyscrapers with his feet. You know, that's kind of like, we could do without your help, thanks. It's just, that's the opposite to helping. Can you be a bit more careful? Yeah, I don't know what to make of him. I'm not being prejudiced against Godzilla, but I just don't understand where it's coming from, what its intention is, what does it really aim to do? Mary asks, do you enjoy cooking? No. Anne asks, who is your internet provider? Right, do I enjoy cooking? The answer is still no. However I look at it, no. The only time I ever enjoyed cooking, really, would be when I was about... how old was I? When I was a kid. But 11, maybe even earlier, I used to help my stepmum to make cakes. I'd help a little bit with some of the cooking, but probably mainly just, mixing stuff up, for crumbles and for cakes and stuff like that. And I used to help her do that. I'm not sure how much help I was, but I used to enjoy that. And I also used to help my nan a little bit, my nan in Newland, my nan in Newland. And used to sometimes help her in the kitchen, make some cakes and stuff. Actual food? Nah. No. I'm a little bit like, when I'm watching Game of Thrones, for example, I don't want to make the show. I don't want to act in the show. I just want to watch the show. I'm a bit like that with food. I just want to eat it. I don't want to prepare it. I don't want to cook it. I don't want to wait for it to be cooked. I don't want to know anything about it really, other than, is it going to taste nice? And that's it really. Hard to believe that I worked in catering. I used to work in catering. I actually went to catering college, but I wasn't very good at that either. So that's a good thing. Not really. I did home economics for at least 2 years in high school, which was cooking. So I used to do a lot of cooking. Every week we used to do cooking and cook different meals and stuff, and I can't say I enjoyed it, if I'm honest. I was trying to find the easiest subjects. So when we came to having to choose a subject, I did the first 2 years, and then the next 3 years we had more of a choice about what we did. Still had to do English, maths, geography, history, RE, PE. And by the way, PE doesn't stand for premature. It's actually physical education, science. So those 7 subjects were kind of stuck. But there was more subjects available, such as in the first 2 years I had to do woodwork and metalwork and stuff like that, which I didn't like. But we were able to drop that and choose other things. So I chose... There was only really 2 that I could choose that would be... basically, I wanted to make my week as easy as possible. So I chose home economics and drama. I want to say easy. I thought it would be easier than choosing... I don't know what else there was, to be honest. Maybe like English literature or French or German or woodwork and metalwork and those kinds of things. So I chose drama, and I chose home economics, which was cooking. Drama was just a skive. I just skived. That's all it was. Didn't do anything. Just used to run around in women's clothes. Used to get dressed up, have makeup on, and used to have fun. And I'd come home, because it was at the last 2 lessons of my Friday, and I'd come home from school still in the makeup. I remember my dad sort of saying, "What's going on with you?" I said, "I had drama." He said, "Yeah, but what? I said, "Look, I couldn't get the makeup off." There's not enough time. The makeup was like wax or some kind of weird thing. So eyeliner, lipstick, and everything. He said, "Okay, but why are you still wearing a dress and a wig?" I said, "I think I look good in this." He didn't seem to agree. I had fun. The good thing, I think, it'd be so lovely if we could all just get away with wearing makeup. Because I could make myself probably look fairly, I don't know, but it was weird. Vinny just did a growl. You just did a growl. Why? Why, Vinny? Why'd you do a growl? Why'd you do a growl? I think he heard something outside. So yeah, and I do not enjoy cooking, sorry. I don't. No, really. Yeah, not my thing. Anne asks, who's your internet provider there? How much does it cost? My internet provider is 3. 3? Is it 3? Yeah, THREE, 3. And my internet for my mobile phone and for my broadband is sort of all in one package. The phone's paid for, so I'm not paying on a contract for the phone, just for the broadband and the internet, and using whatever. £54 or £57 a month, one of them. And yeah, so that's it. It's actually a digital, or it's a mobile internet. So it's kind of one of those ones, you buy it, you put the SIM card in, you plug it in, and it works pretty much wherever you are. It's not routed. I mean, it's got a router, but it's not connected to a phone line or anything like that. And it's a relatively okay speed. So if I check internet speed, check broadband speed. Oh, stop it. You compare broadbands. No, I don't want to switch. Well, I don't mind switching, but it's like to just check my speed. That's all I want. I don't want... Okay, here we go. It's this whole thing like, give us your postcode. No, go away. So check start speed test. Here we go. According to this, I'm in Walthamstow, which I'm not. Walthamstow is like 60 miles away from me. Right, so it's coming up as a download is 27 megabytes a second, and upload is 22 megabytes a second. In some ways, the upload is more important than the download for me, because uploading the recordings to the podcasts and all that stuff, that is the thing that takes the most time. Although I'd love to have really fast broadband, like instant, that'd be groovy, and it will be here eventually. It'll be weird though, won't it? You imagine you just like upload and it's uploaded. Like just press a button and it's all done. All 6 recordings up, done and dusted. It's like, okay. Because now I'm used to doing something else while that's uploading. It's like, I'll make an image and I'll do this and do that. And so it would be strange, but I'd still quite like it to be faster. Because 22 megabytes or 27 megabytes per second download, 22 upload, it's still very, compared to all the offers that are about, where people, they're saying, "Oh, come to us, you can get." Let's have a look. I'll show. Except if I put in prices, broadband deals. Okay, broadband deals, broadband only deals, from £25.99 a month. So it says here, our broadband only speeds, megabyte 500, gigabyte. So they do a gigabyte one. So is that 1 gigabyte a second? Gigabyte download speeds are 1 gigabyte per second. And that's huge. It's really fast. But if I put in my postcode, I do believe you'll find it's not available. Not allowed. My address not shown. Why is part of my address not shown? Right. I know that they don't do in my road, which is sad because I'd have them. I would. I'd go for the. I don't know how much it would cost, but it'd save me so much time. Everything would just be instant as far as uploading stuff. But it's okay. So about 54. I think it's gone up to 57, but it's still, it's still quite a good price, because I got a discount. So because I had my mobile phone with them, my mobile phone contract, so the broadband together, so it's like 54. And also asks, when did you start watching boxing? Wow. If I'd have answered this question at the beginning, instead of my made up question for myself, I would still be talking about this. I mean, the very first fight I watched, the very first boxing match I watched that I remember, was Muhammad Ali fighting Larry Holmes. And it was, I think, was it 1980? I think it was 1980. 1979, 1980. And I genuinely didn't know who either of them were. I would have seen Muhammad Ali on TV doing adverts and stuff and whatever, so I kind of probably would know who he was, but didn't really know who he was, if you know what I mean. And then Baron McGuigan won the world title, and he was a huge star in this country, or in Ireland, in the UK as well. He was just really big star, celebrity kind of status. And so I watched him win the world title, I think, because my dad used to watch the boxing. And the other boxer I remember I used to watch was Frank Bruno. So he was kind of like 81, 82, was kind of, he became a celebrity because of his personality. And he didn't win a world title till 1995, but in the early 80s, he was on TV, on Saturday early evening shows, family entertainment, because he was this larger-than-life character, well, physically larger than life, and he was just lovable. Everyone loved him. So, and I watched him as he moved up towards fighting Witherspoon in 1986 for the world title for the first time. So, my first real passion for boxing like in my own right, rather than just watching it because other people was watching it, was when I got my own TV when I was about 14. And I'll tell you the fights that I remember watching. It was, if I go back to Hagler. So Marvellous Marvin Hagler. Did you know that Marvin Hagler changed his name by deed poll to Marvellous Marvin Hagler? Because that's how he wanted to be remembered, how he wanted to be introduced. And one night he went to the ring and the person introduced him as Marvin Hagler. And he was so annoyed. The next day, I don't know if it was the very next day, he said he changed his name officially to Marvellous Marvin Hagler. Yeah. Right, so here's something you didn't know about Marvin Hagler, right? You know, going about he was like the bestest boxer ever. Some people think he was unbeaten until he, lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. Well, that's not true. He actually lost in his 27th fight and his 29th fight. And he fought for the world title and it was a draw. So he didn't even win his first world title shot. And that was in 1979, and he had to wait till 1980. So he had three fights, and then the fourth fight, he won the world title. And he kept that all the way till 1987. Now, I started watching Marvin Hagler. It would have been, it makes sense, about 1984. And there was the build-up. So Marvin Hagler fought Mustafa Hamsho, and Thomas Hearns fought Fred Hutchins, all in 1984. I'm wondering if it's the same date. No, it's not. It was like a different month. But there was that whole build-up between Hagler and Hearns fighting each other. So they had to overcome their respective people. And Hearns was he a world champion in his own? Yeah, he was the ring, WBC and ring light middleweight champion. So he was a world champion anyway as well. And he continued to defend his world champion after he lost to Hagler, because he still had those belts. So we're talking like 1984, probably, because that was the summer. Now I remember getting into boxing when I was at school, so probably early summertime 84, I was started to get excited about boxing, like not juiced up, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? But like excited, like really like, can't wait to get home to watch the boxing. So, and I started buying KO magazine, and I didn't get to watch a lot of boxing because there wasn't a huge amount on TV for me to watch. But there was like a boxing show that was on every week, and back then there was a lot more boxing on terrestrial television than there is these days. And I remember the build-up to the Hagler-Hearns fight, and I really bought into it. Like really, really bought into it. And it was April 1985, so it was a year before I left school. And I was so excited to watch it. Like, it was the biggest boxing fight. I mean, some would argue it still is like one of the biggest boxing events in history. Like Hagler-Hearns, it's still remembered 40 years on as one of the greatest boxing, 2 rounds of boxing or 3 rounds of boxing. Yeah, 3 rounds. And I remember getting so excited, and I don't remember where I watched it because it was in Caesar's Palace, so it's in America. It was in April 1985, April the 15th, which I guess was a Saturday. So maybe I stayed up or got up early in the morning and watched it on my TV. They showed it live on ITV or BBC. I definitely watched it, I know that much. Or possibly my dad taped it on video, and then we all watched it in the morning, like on the Sunday. That sounds more likely to have happened. So he taped it like 2, 4, 3, 4 o'clock, whatever time it was on, and then we all watched it together, probably on the Sunday afternoon or the Sunday morning, probably the Sunday morning. Because the build-up was huge. Probably not as big as Hagler-Leonard, to be honest. Hagler-Leonard was probably a bigger one. Yeah, probably. Because I remember that was massive build-up. But Hagler-Hearns was still more exciting. One of the most exciting fights. It was just, it was something special. And that fight cemented it for me. And then in 86, I was watching, Mike Tyson came along. So I was in 85, 84, 85, I was seeing Mike Tyson as a teenager working his way up the ranks, kind of just, there was like, I think they used to call him Kid Dynamite. And, he's won 5 fights by knockout, first round knockout, and he's only 18 years old or whatever. And it's like, okay. And then every week there'd be a boxing show on, and they'd show him, they'd also show, I think maybe it was the next year, but they showed Nigel Benn as well, who was our own knockout artist, who went on to be world champion. So it would show clips of fights that had happened, as well as, talking about future fights, going behind the scenes, showing some of the fighters with interviews and training and, things like that. So it's a really good show. I can't remember what it's called. I remember it being called Seconds Out, but I don't think it was, because I think I looked it up. And okay, let's have a look. Seconds Out TV show 80s. Seconds Out TV show is a British sitcom. Seconds Out boxing. Let's see if there's... Nope. It's still... Okay, so it is basically it's a sitcom about a boxer. So maybe that's why I'm getting it muddled up, but there was definitely a TV show. Yeah, it definitely was. I don't know what it's called now, though. And then, like, 86 came along. Lloyd Hunnigan beat the pound-for-pound king to win all the belts at welterweight. So he became my new hero, my new boxing hero. And Mike Tyson won his first world title, I think November in 86. And I was watching his fights previous to that anyway, because he was such a big star in America. No one in this country seemed to know who he was, but he was already on the radar in a big way in the boxing world. And as soon as he won the world title, it was like everyone knew his name. But I'd been kind of following him for years because I'm a hero. Everyone all together. We don't need another hero. And then the boxing kind of grew for me, in the 90s. I watched boxing in all the way through the late 80s, the 90s. That was quite a good era for American fights, especially heavyweights. But I didn't get to see a lot of fights in the 90s or even the 2000s because of Sky. Once Sky got involved, and they're the ones that would show the American fights, like Oscar de la Hoya, I think. I didn't get to see any of those amazing fights from the 90s and the 2000s. But I did see the British fights. I did see the heavyweights because they'd show that live on, I think, ITV, early hours of Sunday morning. And then we had our own kind of middleweights. So we had Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank and a few others that came along. I mean, Joe Calzaghe, he was like the king of the middleweight. Was he super middleweight? But he was on Sky. And I just think the reason Frank Bruno was so loved by the population and still remembered is because he was on normal terrestrial television most of the time. So his fights were watched by 20 million, 30 million, whatever. Huge amounts of people would watch when he fought for the world title for the first time. But also for the third time, because I think he fought Mike Tyson, but that was, I think they showed that early hours of the morning because that was in America, Las Vegas, I think. But then he fought Witherspoon 86, Tyson in 1989, and then he fought in 90, was it 92? I think he fought Lennox Lewis for the world title, but lost that. That was in Wales, so that was live on telly, terrestrial telly. And then in 95, that was also on either BBC One or ITV, I think. So I watched that in a pub. Really, one of the best night in a pub I've ever had. and he won that title against what's his name? And there was just something great about that, and he had the audience. And I know people, fighting on Sky would get paid a lot more, possibly. But, if you think of the future, it's like, what would you rather have 20 million people watch you or 400,000 people watch you? Or enjoy what you're doing, I mean, it's not just about being watched. I mean, they're artists, aren't they? I managed to fully turn it back to being an artist. And so I watched a lot of boxing over the years. Lots, thousands of fights probably. And when I moved here, I got Sky for the first 18 months. And so I had access to boxing because Sky was the main place for boxing at that time. And I've watched a lot of fights here since I've been here. Because in the past, they had pay-per-view, but it wasn't that off. I don't think it was that often, but they seem to have gone a little bit silly with the pay-per-view over the years. Yeah, I mean, Channel 4, which is our fourth channel, Channel 4, they've got a new deal for people. You can pay £3.99 a month, and if you pay that, you get less adverts. No, that's incorrect. No, it's true. No, it can't be. It's true. What do you mean less adverts? If you pay money, no adverts. Not less adverts. We're still going to decide how many we play. It should be less, a few less. No adverts. That's weird. I don't understand that. It don't make sense to me. And that, I do believe, is all the questions. And I want to apologise to Laura, because my dinosaur question wasn't very well answered. I do apologise. I feel like you were expecting more and I let you down. But trust me, you're not the first lady I've disappointed. You're not the first person I've disappointed. People, many people of all types, men, women, giants, dolphins, you name it, caterpillars. How do you disappoint a caterpillar? I don't know. Sing to it. I find if I sing to anything, it just gets disappointed. So yeah, how long have I been talking? This desk. 142 minutes. But there was a break where I took Smelly Head out for a wander. So 142 minutes. I don't know how long I was out for. 20 minutes, maybe more. So this is probably about 2 hours long, this recording, roughly. Yeah. So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening, and remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.